"666." You've heard it, right? For centuries, this number's been whispered in fear. It's become a chilling shorthand for the demonic, the Antichrist, pure evil. But what if the terror around 666 wasn't actually born from the depths of hell? What if it all started with the brutal reign of a Roman emperor and an ancient numerical code, a secret way to speak truth to power? Everyone seems to know 666. It's splashed across horror movie posters, sometimes tattooed on rebels, and definitely avoided by anyone even a little superstitious. This number's got a legendary bad rep. But the story of why it's considered the devil's number? That's way more complex and, honestly, more shocking than any simple tale of demons and damnation. So, get ready, because we're about to unravel a historical mystery that might just change everything you thought you knew about the infamous number of the beast. Our journey kicks off in the Bible, specifically the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 18. This is an apocalyptic text, absolutely packed with wild visions and prophecies, and it says this: "This calls for wisdom. Let anyone with understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number for a person. Its number is 666. Now the passage itself practically begs you to calculate, hinting that 666 isn't just some random scary figure, but an encoded message. For early Christians, who were facing terrible persecution, coded messages like this were a vital, and much safer, way to communicate. And it's described as the number of a man. That's a crucial clue. To really get this code, we need to take a quick trip back to the ancient world. See, back then, numbers and letters were deeply connected. In ancient languages like Hebrew and Greek, letters actually doubled as numerals. This system is known as Gematria, or isopsephy if you're Greek, and it basically allowed words and names to have a numerical value. You just summed up their letters. Think of it like an ancient form of numerology. This wasn't just some party trick. It was a common practice. People used it to hide meanings or to comment on events and powerful figures in a way that only those in the know would understand. And, as we saw, the book of Revelation itself pretty much says a calculation is needed. Alright, so if 666 is the number of a specific man, who was he? Well, a lot of scholars point their fingers at one of Rome's most notorious rulers, Emperor Nero. This guy reigned from 54 to 68 AD and is infamous for his cruelty, especially his persecution of early Christians. After the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, Nero actually blamed the Christians, and he subjected them to horrific tortures and executions. You can imagine, for these early Christian communities, Nero was the embodiment of evil. He was a tyrant who demanded worship and viciously oppressed them, a figure who could easily be seen as a beast. Many biblical scholars are pretty convinced Revelation used 666 as a kind of code name for him. This is where Gematria comes into play, and it's pretty mind-blowing. If you take the Greek name Neron Caesar, that's Nero Caesar, and write it out in Hebrew letters, which would be NRVN KSR, Neron Caesar, the numerical values of those Hebrew letters add up to, you guessed it, exactly 666. That's Nun 50, Resh 200, Vav 6, Nun 50, Kof equals 100, Samek equals 60, Resh equals 200, all adding up to 666. That connection is incredibly compelling, especially when you think about how badly Nero was persecuting Christians. For those early believers, many of whom were Jewish and understood Hebrew, this would have been a clear, though super dangerous and subversive way to identify their tormentor. But hold on, there's another twist. Some of the really early manuscripts of the Book of Revelation actually list the number of the beast as 616, not 666. Now, far from knocking down the Nero theory, this variation might actually make it stronger. Here's why. If you use the Latin spelling of Nero Caesar, and then transliterate that into Hebrew as Enro Qsar, dropping the second nun from Neron, which was a common practice, the sum is 616. The fact that both numbers can point to the same infamous emperor, just depending on how his name was spelled or transliterated, is a pretty significant piece of evidence for many scholars. Now, some also suggest 616 could refer to other Roman emperors, like Caligula, but the Nero connection for both 666 and 616 is still very strong. So, if 666 started out as a coded jab at a tyrannical Roman emperor, how on earth did it become the devil's number, known all over the world? Well, over centuries, the specific historical dirt on Nero started to fade from everyday memory. But the powerful symbolism of the beast and its number? That stuck around. The Book of Revelation is filled with such vivid, terrifying imagery that it practically guaranteed 666 would stay linked with ultimate evil, the Antichrist, and Satan himself. It transformed from a very specific political critique into this powerful, free-floating symbol of pure evil in Western culture. And the fear and superstition surrounding it, there's even a name for it, hexacosioi hexacanta hexaphobia, try saying that 3 times fast, became incredibly widespread. Wow, that's quite a bit to unpack, isn't it? If you're finding this hidden history as fascinating as I do, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into mysteries you thought you understood. What's really interesting is that this dread of 666 is mostly a Western thing. In many other cultures, the number doesn't carry nearly the same sinister baggage. Take Chinese numerology, for example. The number 6 is actually considered lucky because it sounds a lot like the word for flow or smooth. So, by that logic, 666 can be seen as a super amplification of good fortune, meaning something like, everything goes smoothly. You'll even see it displayed in businesses to attract prosperity. And some modern spiritual interpretations even look at 666 as an angel number, maybe representing balance or a call to refocus your life. It's a stark contrast, and it really shows how much meaning can be shaped by culture. So, the really shocking truth about 666. Its terrifying reputation probably didn't start with some supernatural curse. It more likely began as a clever and incredibly brave act of resistance against a brutal regime. What was once a coded message pointing straight at Emperor Nero, the guy who persecuted early Christians, has morphed over thousands of years into the ultimate symbol of demonic evil in pop culture. Now, understanding its origins doesn't mean it loses all its dark mystique, but it does uncover an amazing story of history, language, and just how powerful symbols can be. The number of the beast isn't just a superstition. It's a historical fingerprint, a real testament to a time when numbers themselves could be a weapon against tyranny. What do you think? Does knowing this change how you see 666? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to share this video with anyone who enjoys a good historical debunking. Thanks so much for watching.